Continuing on with the learning on the right side of the brain. So I'm making the viewfinders that they talked about. I already did the diagonal. Now this was a little longer. The diagonal was longer than my ruler. It was probably around, I'd say 13 inches or 14 inches even. Now I didn't have 8 by 10 piece of glass or plastic, but I did have 8 by 11. What I'm using is this. I just got this from the inside of a frame for like a photo picture, like when they frame the certificates. So they had this one. This was actually from my brother's certificate. I took it out of the picture frame and I measured it. It was at 8 by 11. All the ones I had at the house were either really small or 8 by 11. So we're gonna do this. So I cut the paper in the same length as the glass. It's not really glass, it's like plastic. And now I'm doing 2 inches to make a box on the inside that I'll cut out. And it's supposed to be black, but I don't have black paper, I have white paper. And I'm just gonna use one of my Sharpies or my Expo. I have this black Expo marker right here. I'm just gonna use that to make it black. And then it'll be the viewfinder. Basically the box is supposed to go where this is touching, I believe. This is interesting. I'm actually gonna break the spine of the book so it'll stay open to this section so I can read it. This is where it connects 2 inches from the edge and at the diagonal. This is where it connects here. Okay, how about this? Is this 2 inches? No, it's not. Oh my goodness. Okay, so where does it connect? At the diagonal. Probably right here. I think my measurements are off because this is... Also, the diagonal is not really center. That's another thing to note. The diagonal is off center. It's not a true diagonal. Let's try this again. Now this is a better diagonal than before, so we're gonna just do this because it's better. But I really hope that extra inch, making it 8 by 11, doesn't really come to bite me in the end. Because I don't have 8 by 10. And I'm trying to get through this book now. No, I'm saying, I'm trying to improve my art skills now. Well, this is a little bit wider. It takes more than 2 inches to get to where the diagonal meets. It takes about 2.5 inches. So it's gonna be 2 inches by 2.5 inches. But that's also because I made it 8 by 11 and not 8 by 10. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. And I think likewise the other one's gonna end up being 1.5 by 1 inches. So 1 by 1.5 inches. They said use black paper. I don't have black paper. I have white paper. So this is why we're doing this. This is all improvisation. Oh, this is gonna take forever. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna paint with our ink instead. I'm gonna get my sketchbook, open up to the deleter, white test page. This is a page that I don't really need, so it doesn't matter if ink gets on it. We're gonna use the last of this ink, and we're gonna get the biggest brush that I can have. Can it fit? Oh, it can fit, barely. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna work something out. Let's see. Oh, it fits. If it fits, it ships with one low flat rate. Let me stop stealing people's slogans. Okay, we're in business. And I'm out of ink. I'm out of ink. Okay, this is my water cup. I'm gonna put some ink straight from the tube and pour some Black India ink on it. Because it's a wider area, I'll be able to pick up the ink quickly. And I didn't put a lot, only a tiny bit if you can see. And it doesn't have to be the purest of ink, it just has to make the paper black. For whatever reason, it has to be black. So I'm just gonna do that. And this part's already dry, so this is fast drying. This Koh-i-Noor ink is life. I love it. It's not the richest black, so I'm just gonna put a second coat. Not for the sake of the book, but for my sake. I just want it to be very black. I love deep, rich blacks. When I do my comics, I have to have scenes where I just flood the paper with black ink. But it's not gonna be with this ink. I'm gonna have to find something else that's richer, darker, and opaque. I want an ink that dries as black as this looks when it's wet. It kind of bothers me that this dries lighter. It's good for a mid-tone transition color between the various hues of black, but not for this. I'm gonna set it out to dry as we work on cutting the second one. Let's do this again. Now this looks like it actually might be 1 1/4. How far is it from the edge? Is it actually 1 1/2? It's closer to 1 1/4. So 1 1/4, 1 1/4. Okay. Now to cut this and then ink it as well. This time I'm not gonna puncture a hole like I did before. I'm just gonna fold it, slit it down the middle, open it back up. It was a slight fold, so it didn't get to the edges, but the fold and the crease is mainly in the middle. That's going to be cut out. Okay. Now we have this finished. This is the one from before. It's not fully dry. It's somewhat dry to the touch, but it's still very wet, so we're going to put this away to dry. This is the 1-inch panel, and I'm going to go back with 1 1/2 painter's brush. It's just from Craft Smart. If you can see, it's 1 1/2 inches. And my cup, this is my water cup. I'm gonna just put some ink in it, and I'm not putting a ton. I'm just kind of doing on an as needed basis. I may not need as much as I did before because this is so much smaller too. This may even be enough for a full coat. We'll see. This may even be enough for a full coat. We'll see. Okay, so this is the first coat, and it's very, very light. I don't know if you can see how it looks compared to how it looks in person, but one thing is that it might be the paper. The paper is not the most absorbent. Neither is it the best quality, but I'm gonna go ahead. I still have a bit of ink left in the cup, so I'm gonna go get some of that and put on a second coat.